super honored and just honored to be up here. I first want to start by honoring your leaders, Malik, Stetson. Just thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come up here and be a part of this. If you guys don't know, Malik and Stetson put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of their own personal money into making this happen. These events don't happen by accident. They happen with intentionality. And these guys, on top of selling, on top of recruiting, on top of running correlations, on top of putting out fires and dealing with the drama that sometimes goes on top of their own personal lives, with you got a wife, Malik has like 10 girlfriends. On top of all that, these guys were still able to put this together. We did a couple phone calls just to make sure things were dialed in, right? We went over it again and again. So can we give it up for Malik and Stetson? Okay? I always believe for these things, the best way you can truly say thank you is to go actually change your life after this. Yeah. Right? If you just say thank you to them after this, oh, thanks for this awesome Airbnb, thanks for the trainer, thanks for the ice bath, thanks for this, but you go and you're the same exact person, that's actually a slap in their face. Okay, so I would say the best way you can always say thank you to anybody, if you ever hear anybody speak and you're like, man, that was great, and you come up to them and say thank you, the best thanks is go change your own freaking life. Right? That's always going to be the best things because that's what Malik wants. That's what Stetson wants. That's what they want to see from you guys. They want to see you guys be a different version 6 months from now. So I'll be up here like 15, 20 minutes max, okay? And then we'll do a workshop and then we'll do a break before we do our final and last speaker, which I'm excited to hear from. But I want to share this photo. Mike had me kind of thinking about some stories. Mike's a great communicator. I've learned a lot from him in the few months we've gone to work together. So I just want to say thank you for that, Mike. And I wanted to look for this photo. This is actually when Malik and Stetson were like semi-new to solar. Malik had been in it a little bit longer, but Stetson, babyface Stetson right here,
Hey, hold on. Zoom in on Stetson. Wow. Zoom in on Malik's polo. Is that buttoned all the way up? Yeah. The full button? You guys look like different humans, dude. Is that Joey Level? Joey Level looking.
So I want to show, this is the guy that got Lucas in. Where's Lucas at? Yeah, this is the guy that got Lucas in. Wow. Yeah. So shout out Alan. But I reminisce on this photo. This was our first office. So you guys didn't see the OG office. We had a very small office. Then we upgraded to a bigger office. And then now we have the one that we have today. And I can't wait to see what the fourth one will look like, because we've already even outgrown that space. But I remember this office. It was very small. Right, we had a very small office. It was like maybe a third of what we have today. So imagine, huh? Right after the break. No, it was before. This is before, yeah. So this is after. Yeah, sorry, I think you meant the office. Yeah. So this was our office, guys. At one point, if you look around, this was us. This was what Valor was. This is like 2019, guys. This is like around 2019. This was Valor. Like, seriously. Like, just to show you guys, some of you guys have been with us for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. This was Valor in 2019. This was shortly after we had gone through one of the hardest seasons of my life and in some of you guys' life as well. It was when we had a huge split, right? That's what created Sunder. And this were some of the people that stuck around, right? These were some of the people that were like, hey, we're going to stay with you guys. Unfortunately, Adrian thought the grass was greener somewhere else, so he went there. So did Xavier. So did Ben. But were you in solar yet? No? You weren't? Okay. All right. Ben's exempt. Ben's exempt from that. But guys, this was us. Okay. And if you look around, Lucas, you asked the question, who's still here? Right? Really, who's still here? Right? You look around, you don't really see like, gone. Well, still here, right? Clayton, look at Clayton. Look at the baby face Clayton had, right? Diego, I don't know who's behind Diego, right? Gone. Alex, gone. Joey Lambo, your boy, still here, right? Gone. Jake Ransom, still here. Gone. PD, gone. Boom. And then there's a few people missing, like Jordan's not in this photo, right? Jordan was, of course, there. And then we saw maybe like, a handful of people, like a few people missing. But this was like kind of what our office was in 2019. And to see what we've grown in the last 4 years has been remarkable, right? I mean, now we're at about 250 plus reps. if you were to combine, if we put all of us in a room, we're about 250, okay? And I predict that we're going to double that, triple that in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. I have a vision of 10,000 people over the next decade, right? Solar's a long-term game. If you guys, and I think Stetson and Mike alluded to it perfectly, to where if you guys are only in it for selling, you're selling yourself short, okay? You only have so many hours in a day. Like, what's the most you can really do in a month in terms of selling? Like 30, right? That's hard, okay? Maybe 40, maybe 50 if you're Stetson, like a beast, maybe 50. But can you do 50 back to back to back to back to back? It's really hard. Like, you can, but you have no life. If you're married, your wife doesn't know you. If you have kids, your wife doesn't see you. You're probably not hitting the gym, right? Because you just have, you're just literally working from 7 to freaking 10 o'clock. Okay, so can you do it? Yeah. So there's a ceiling over your income, right? Because we're all in this to get ahead. There's a ceiling over your income if you sell, right? Like, you can maybe make $1 million, maybe 1.5, maybe 2 million selling personally if you're crazy. But I would say million is about like the mark, right? After that, it's not sustainable. You can do it again and again and again. And the thing about solar big picture is that we have a solid decade, if not more, of this. And so I know I love, me, Stetson, and Mike didn't even talk about like our content. I love how it kind of all works together. Because what I really just want, yeah, you Stetson. Forgot about this one. This was Stetson. When he passed his GPI. When Stetson passed his GPI, this was his photo. You know how we post on GroupMe? Like, congratulations, so-and-so's not, you guys remember that for everybody? Right? This was the photo we used where we posted it on our GroupMe. It's like, congratulations, Stetson just passed his GPI. He was trained by the one and only Malik Dayani. And look at that face, right? Little did we know this was a young goat in the making, right? Little did we know that this was a goat in the making, right? So it's cool because people will surprise you. You'll never know who goes on and really does remarkable things. So this is what I'm talking, guys. And again, I'll keep it brief and short. And I feel like it ties in really well with everything that we've heard from Malik, Stetson. I keep doing that. Why? I keep calling Stetson Malik. I don't know why I do that. It's so weird. So weird.
That's like a mom that has kids that like calls their kids the wrong name, calls their kids the dog's name.
So Mike's saying you're the mom.
When Stetson was training, and I was like, yeah, like that's so good, Matt Stetson. I literally said that. Now they call me. Okay, so it all ties from what Stetson and Mike have talked into, and the reason I shared that first photo, guys, is because in 2019 I had a massive revelation of, if I wanted to build something of substance, something that's sustainable, something that will truly live a legacy, right? Because that's the name of our company, a legacy. Like, what legacy are you leaving behind? I mean, I'm not 80 years old, but I do believe that when we're 80, we're not going to be thinking about, oh, this is how much money I made. Oh, this is how many deals I signed. Oh, these are the cars I drove. Oh, these are the house. No, I really believe we're going to be thinking about the lives we impacted. Now, that can be the lives of our children, of our spouses, of our friends, of our family. I really do think as humans, we're tribal, right? We're very tribal as humans. We need one another. There's a hole that is filled in our hearts when we make life about others. I really, really do believe that. There's actually a verse in the Bible in Titus. I'm kind of butchering it, I'm paraphrasing it, but it literally says something along the lines of, if you live to serve the urgent needs of others, then that's how you're gonna not be unproductive. So in other words, it's like a formula of life. Like, hey, if you literally make life about fulfilling the urgent needs, right? And it's interesting because the Bible says urgent needs, not just needs, urgent needs of others, then you won't be unproductive. So how do you become productive? You fill the urgent needs of others. And so I love this because John C. Maxwell, I think, is one of the best leadership coaches. He has a book called The 5 Levels of Leadership. Great book. Recommend you guys to read it. I read it a few years ago, and then I reread it again a few months ago. And so it's such a great book because it really kind of outlines where all of us are at. Because leadership is not a title. right? A leader is not a title. A lot of people think it's a title. A leader is a way of being. There are some people in your office that probably have more influence, like Mike talked about, than the people with titles. Think about that. There are probably some people right now in your offices, in your regions, or like that have more influence than the people with titles. For example, right? Or actually, I'll give you even a random example, right? Abe, you're married. If Stetson tells you to go knock, you're gonna be like, okay. But if Jazzy says to go knock, which one are you more likely to listen to? Jazzy, right? Now, Jazzy, does she have a title within Valor? Does she have does she have like a position here? Does she like work for us? No, right? But she has influence over your life, right? She has a different type of influence that is greater than even the influence of a district manager, even the influence of a vice president, even the influence of Doug Robinson, right? So understand the leadership, guys, is not a title, okay? It's not a title. It's a way of being. It's who you are, right? Jazzy has earned the right in your life to guide you and steward you, right? And sometimes tell you what you need to do, right? But she's the only one in your life that has been able to gain that, right? And that's why she has that kind of influence in a way that I don't, in a way that Stetson doesn't, in a way that Malik doesn't. So here are the 5 levels, okay? And I want you, as I go through them, think through this and ask yourself, where am I truly at? One of the best things you can do to yourself is to be real with yourself. And you'll see, like, the closer you get to me, I'm not afraid to be real with you, okay? Like, I know Jake and I, we've already had 2 kind of interactions where I had to be real with him, but that comes from a place of love. That comes from a place of, I care so much about you that I'm willing to call out the things in your life that maybe others aren't. That maybe you're not even willing to call out. And we have to do that with ourselves. We have to have a conversation with ourselves and be like, man, where am I truly at? Because we lie to ourselves a lot of times. Or actually, we think we're lying to ourselves. But you know where your deficiencies are at. You know where your faults are at. Okay? Just recently I shared, so I got to preach at my church 2 weeks ago, and it was the most surreal experience I've had to date. Like, it was just a different kind of speaking. And when I got up there, I realized that the standard of my life had to now be raised. Because if that's the platform I'm going to go on, I had this awakening of like, man, my level of standard has to now be even higher. And so, to share with you guys, me and my wife actually decided to stop drinking after June. In June, we traveled a lot. And not that I'm a big drinker, but, in June, we went to Italy, we had the Mexico trip, and, we drank more than normal. So after that month, we were like, you know what, let's just not drink for July, like at all. And again, not that we were heavy drinkers, but I would drink socially, right? Have 1 or 2 or 3 drinks. And July went by, we finished it, right? And then we're like, you know what, let's just do August. Cool. August went by, we finished it. But then after I got to preach at my church, I had this realization of like, I want to be above reproach. I never want people to not take me as seriously in this lane because maybe they see me have a drink. And not that there's anything wrong with a drink. I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying that. But I never want anyone to have that over me to be like, oh, well, I don't want to listen to what he has to say because he does this. And so I realized that I need to give that up so I could go higher. And Mike talked about it perfectly, right? There are things in your life, and only you can know what that is. There's levels to it, but there are things in your life right now that are holding you back from going to the next level. And for me, I realized that if I want to go in this lane, right, my church has identified me as like, hey, we want to help. We want to now start putting you in more positions of leadership. I realized that if I decide to go there, then there's going to be things in my life I have to give up. And for me, that was like, dude, I have to give up drinking. Not because I had a problem with it. Not at all. Again, I had no problem with it. But just because I want to live a life where I'm above reproach. I want people to look at me and do my best to be a Pinnacle leader, to be like, man, like, he doesn't do this, and this, right? Because I'm sure none of you guys look at a person that doesn't drink and think there's something wrong with them, right? But you can think that about someone that does. And again, this is just my own personal revelation. I'm not trying to say you have to do it. But I made that decision a few weeks ago to be like, you know what? I've already not done it for 2 months. I'm not really missing out on anything. Like, I'm not. Like, honestly, like, for me, when I drank, I was like, dude, I'm exchanging 20, 30 minutes of maybe feeling good for what? Like, what am I really trading it for? Like, I don't need it. I can go find different ways to chase that high or that buzz, right? I can do it by the cryotherapy, right? Chase that high, right, Mike, of like those 5 minutes when you get out of that cold, freaking room, you just feel like a boss, right? I'd rather chase that than chase the feeling of a buzz, right? I'd rather chase the feeling of a really hard leg workout, right, Mike, that we did. And like when you're going through it, it sucks. But when you're done, you're like, let's go. I'd rather chase that. Or I'd rather chase being able to speak in front of people, right? And that feeling of like, man, I'm changing lives. I'm transforming lives. And if just one person can walk away transformed, that's good enough for me. I'd rather chase that. And so I don't know what that is for you. But if you guys want to go to the next level, if you want to progress, because this is truth right here. Now, this is not up to date. This is objective truth. The best people that have accomplished big, big things have learned to be a pinnacle leader. Right now, if you guys were to think about the greats in any industry, right? Stetson loves Kobe Bryant. Or, you know, you love Kobe Bryant too, right? Whatever, both of you do. And Michael Jordan, right? Let's think basketball, okay? I'm sure you guys see him as a pinnacle leader, right? You respect him. So actually, let's go through this. The first level is positional leader, okay? You lead by title. So that's, if you're an assistant manager, if you're a district manager, if you're a regional director, whatever, this is actually the lowest level of leaders. And people follow you because they have to. We've all worked with somebody who led from their title, who said, you have to do as I say because I'm your boss. Have we worked with someone like that? In the Marine Corps, I worked with many people like that. The military is probably the only organization that can actually do this well, but not well at the same time. But in the Marine Corps, I remember I had many people that were above me, but I did not respect them. But I was forced, because in the military, you have the thing called the UCMJ. It's a military law, so we have to follow them, or we literally go to jail, okay? So we had to follow them. But I only followed them because I had to, not because I didn't actually want to. Don't be that leader, okay? Now, again, this is a good place to start, but don't end there. A lot of people, when they get a title, it goes to their head. Right? Or before they got the title, they were actually doing these, and then they forgot about it. The second one, permission leader. These are relationships. Okay? People follow you because they want to. Right? These are the people that, hey, it's important. They follow you because you do life with them. Right? We do this stuff together. Okay? We go to lunch after correlation. You take them out to lunch. Right? You go knock with them in the hood, and when you're in the hood, you build relationships. Or you guys go to the gym together, right? I love IE. You guys have a culture of like hit the gym before correlation. That's awesome, right? That's how you build a permission type of organization. And understand this, guys. You don't graduate. As you go up, you don't graduate from one. You build on top of it, right? So it's not like when you go from 2 to 3, you stop doing this. No. You still do it, but then now you just add to it, right? So right here, people follow because they want to. Now, this is not also a good place to stay. And some people, they go too far in this one. Right? They become more of their friend, okay? I will say this to you guys. If you have a leadership title, an actual title here in Valor, I do think it's important that when you're here, that there are certain things you do not do with your people. You will put a ceiling over your life if you're doing a blitz and you're smoking marijuana with the people that are following you. I do think there needs to be this sacrifice where if that's what you do, okay, cool. Do it on your own accord. Don't do it around other people, because you will put a ceiling over your life if you do that with them, because then now, right, it's going to be hard for them to go up because they're going to see you as a buddy, okay? There's this fine line you need to kind of teeter between like your people seeing you as a friend, but your people also seeing you as a leader. And sometimes people go too far in this one. They become too friend-like. Like, oh yeah, we drink together, we take shots together, we smoke weed together, and it's like, dude, then when it's time for competition, when it's time to get real, when it's time to correct someone, they don't take you seriously. Because they're like, dude, you were like taking shots with me last week. Like, who are you to tell me about my numbers? Right? They don't take you seriously. And I see some people struggle with that. If you're going to want to be a leader, as you go up, there's going to be things you have to give up. First, give it up doing it among other people. Understand that only certain people should see certain sides of you. If that's you, okay, whatever, do your thing. I would still say give it up completely. But if that's still you, then you need to decide who gets to see that side of you. Because you don't want to be too far here, okay? The next one, production, results. People follow you because of what you've done for the organization, okay? This one's pretty simple, right? They follow you because you're a sales leader. They follow you because you're consistent. They follow you because you maximize Saturdays. They follow you because you're consistently show up to correlation. They follow you because of the results that you have for the sales organization, because of what you've done for the squad, the office, the region, Valor, the company. All of us in this room should always strive to be a production leader. Okay, and then as you progress, the standard of production will tend to change, right? Like I think if you're just a closer, cool, production is your own personal sales volumes. When you're an assistant manager, it's like, 80% your own sales volume, but then also 20% your squad volume. When you're a district manager, maybe like 50-50. 50% your volume, 50% your organizations. When you're a regional, it should be like 30-70. 30% your volume, because as you get bigger, right, the production changes, right? If you're leading an organization of 100 people, it's hard to effectively pour into 100 people and then still take care of your own production. Now, if you can do that, awesome. By all means, go do that. But understand that as you get bigger, right, the metric of results will change. But right now, everyone in this room, for the most part, is able to hold a high standard to their own production. The fourth one, people development, reproduction. People follow you because of what you have done for them. This is a huge one, okay? This is a big one. This is what Valor DNA is all about, okay? If you're not in Valor DNA, you want to strive to get into it, because this is the one that we focus on. It's all about leadership development. It's all about helping others get to the next level. The story of Doug, right? Doug will remember that you probably helped him get his first $15K weekly check. He'll remember that for a long time. And he'll follow you, Braun. Sure. You may be his supervisor, or whatever you want to call it, right? Sure, he may like you, okay? He thinks you're awesome. Sure, he may follow you because you also have the results, but I promise you the main reason he follows you right now is because of this. Is because he's able to look at you and say, Braun, you've helped me get my first $15,000 check. And so we should all be, if we are leading even one person, we should all be striving for people development. And Stetson said it perfectly earlier. Don't ask what the organization can do for you. Ask what you can do for the organization. Don't ask your setters, what can you do for me? Hey, go get me appointments. Hey, go do this. No. Ask, hey, what can I do for my people? Every day I have a mindset of like, how can I innovate? Okay, if you've been with Valor long enough, I'm sure you guys have seen that Valor as an organization hasn't stayed the same, right? We're always new ideas, new innovation, new teams, new people, new leaders, right? That's because I wake up every day, right? Me and Mike wake up every day with a mindset of, cool, what's next? What's next? What's next? I'm big on this word called newness, okay? Like, that's like kind of my theme for my life. It's newness. It's like, how can I create newness in my life? How can I create newness in my marriage, right? It's very easy when you're in a marriage to fall into a routine. Oh, yep, I come home and, let's just put on Netflix. Yep, date night, yep, it's just always a dinner, Like, it's very easy in a marriage, for example, to fall into a routine. But even me and my wife are like, no, newness. How can we have newness in our lives? So ask yourself, how can I create newness in my team? How can I wake up every day and be like, cool, if I've been doing this the last few times, how can I then create newness? Because that's where you develop people. It never ends. This is a continuous journey. And the last one to wrap up is the Pinnacle leader. Now, this is very, very, very hard to attain, okay? And all a Pinnacle leader does, and people follow them because of who they are and what they represent, okay? They get respect for that. All a Pinnacle leader does is develop level 4 people. You become a Pinnacle leader by developing leaders that make leaders. It's very hard to produce a leader. It's then even harder to produce a leader that goes on and makes other leaders. That's very difficult. I mean, there's only maybe like 4 or 5 people, even in my career, maybe a little more, but even in my career, that I can say are effective, really effective, that they became this, but then they themselves went on and also produced real leaders, right? And Mike defined leadership really well. It's influence over volume, okay? People that have true influence over the volume. And so ask yourself, where am I at in this, okay? Where am I at? Am I operating from here sometimes? It's very easy to operate from title. It's very easy, Sandra, for you to get a new setter and just be like, well, they have to do as I say because, like, I'm their first level of you're their direct supervisor, right? It's very easy, right? All of us, very tempting to follow. And I wish it was as simple as do as I say because I'm a senior director, right? But it's not the military, right? It's not that simple. I have to recognize that if I want to win the hearts of people, it begins, number one, with who am I becoming Ask yourself that. Who am I becoming? Okay? These values that we have, the Valor values, right? That was birthed from just like who were we already and who am I already? And also, who do I want to become? So ask yourself, who are you becoming? Who are you creating yourself to be? Because people will follow you because of who you are. And then what you represent. That's why it's important to have values. Okay, that's why values are important. What do you represent? If people right now were to look at you and define you in a few words, what would they say? I know for me, I tell people this, the life that I want to represent, right? What I want to represent is a life of you can have it all. That's my main one. I want to show specifically men that, hey, you can have it all. That you don't have to have an or mentality, but you can have an and mentality. I stole that from Mike. Okay? Some men, they're like, oh, I can either be successful in business or my family. Other men say, oh, I can be successful in my health or my marriage. Okay? We've like normalized this like dad bod thing. Okay? And I actually bought into it for a very long time. But I had this kind of realization in the last year of like, no, F that. Why do I buy into that? Why do I buy into that it's acceptable for me to give up my fitness when I got married or when I had kids? That's a limiting belief I have. I can have an and mentality, meaning I can be successful in my business and my marriage and my faith in God and my finances. I can have it all. And so that's what I want to represent. And if you get to know me enough, like you'll see as you talk to me, that's what I want to represent. And if people want to follow that, awesome. If they don't, okay, then also awesome, right? Like at the end of the day, understand that when you're a Pinnacle leader, not everybody will follow you, right? Even Kobe Bryant, even Michael Jordan, even LeBron James has haters still, right? There's still people who they're like, oh, I don't respect that guy at all. But then there's people who are like, dude, I respect the crap out of them. So understand no matter what you do, people will judge you, people will hate you, people will say, I don't want that, and that's okay. Because you're not going to be able to win everybody over, okay? Even the most perfect man that walked the earth 2,000 years ago still was rejected and people did not like him, right? But guys, our goals to wrap up should be, what can I do to get to the next one? And understand again that we build on top. If you're here, you don't stop doing this, okay? If you're here, you don't stop doing that. It's all about doing all 5 of them together, but you can get to the next level. Like you don't just get to skip into number 4. Doesn't work like that. You have to first have some type of position, right? People have to see that, okay, cool, you're credible here. Okay, that can be like, cool, you're a closer, right? Awesome. Then you have to have permission. People have to give you the permission to say, yep, I want to follow you because I like you, okay? I like you. Then you have to have the results. Then you have to, do stuff for them. I would say right here, just to kind of touch back a little bit on this one, make it a goal, guys, to be like, how quick can I get my setter on Big Check Friday? Make it a goal to be like, how quick can I help them get their first appointment? I find that sometimes one thing that I see maybe it lacks a little bit in the Pacific is recognition for other people's accomplishments. I feel like in the closers chat that we have, if one of your setter gets a lead, gets their first bill, their first appointment, dude, you should be in the closers chat and be like, yo, Braun just got his first appointment, guys. Let's shout him out on the group me. How do you think that person's going to make them feel? Amazing. Brandon, if your setter gets their first close, dude, you better be the one in the close chat. Guys, Dylan just got his first close. Let's freaking all show him some love. And then everyone, dude, if someone got their first install, you should be like, hey, center goes, hey, Sheila just got her first install, guys. Here's her phone number. Shoot her a text message. If Sheila gets bombarded with like 10 messages from people she doesn't even know, maybe, but they're all saying, congratulations, this, and this, how is that going to make her feel? Awesome. And who did it for them? Sandra? When you helped Sheila get her first install, who was the one that did it for her? I did. You did, right? So how much more bought into you is she going to feel if she gets 10 people, right? These are little hacks that you can do to really make your people be like, wow, I love it here, and I love you for what you've done for me. Because if she gets 10 people that are like, congratulations on your first Big Check Friday, or whatever, and I would love to see more of that culture of recognition. More, but Stetson and Malik and Adrian, like the leaders, can't see everybody, but as a collective, we can. So let's make it a goal to have an awareness for these small wins in people, right? And again, make it like reputable, right? Not like, hey, so-and-so, knocked 20 doors today. Let's all give him a shout out, right? But let's make it like, again, it should be like, hey, someone's first lead, someone's first sale, someone's first install, someone's first time on Big Check Friday, right? Something like that. Or if you know other ones, like Johnny Orca, right? Bought a house, and you posted it, right? You posted it, and right away, what did I ask for? His number. Guess what I did when I got his number? Shot him a FaceTime, okay? And I've never talked to Johnny on the phone. I never had his number, right? He didn't know it was me. He rejected me the first few times because he's like, who the hell from Cleveland, Ohio is trying to FaceTime me? But I texted him like, yo, pick up. He's like, who is this? I'm like, just pick up. And then he finally picked up. And he's like, oh, hey. And I was actually with my wife. How do you think that made him feel? Incredible. How much more bought into the Black Mambos now? Right? Amazing. So guys, we can all, as a collective, these small little things will increase our culture, will increase our production, and we can go make it happen.